Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So a new AFL season is just over 3 weeks away, and obviously with a new season comes a new set of rules. We're going to look at one really controversial one in this video. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's get into it. A video was just released today which showed a clip from Essendon training which shows the new rule coming into effect. And AFL fans, including myself, are not happy about this rule. So it says, what a joke. AFL fans explode over first look at controversial new rule. So I'm going to play the clip and we'll go through it and I'll explain to you what's happening. So it's from a ball up in the center. And I think there's a holding the ball free kick given there. Right here, holding the ball free kick. And then what we're going to see is the man who's supposed to be on the mark, this number 4, with this new rule, is supposed to stand on that mark and not move. And let's see what happens. See, he's moved off the mark to the left as the kicker plays on, and he's given away a 50-meter penalty. Just like that. Let's have a look again. So he's standing on the mark. So before this rule came in, you could move left, right, back, forward, all over the place, so you can cut off the inside, the outside on the wing, and you give the attacking player less options. But apparently this new rule is supposed to give the attackers more options going forward and is supposed to open up the space for the attacker. But now, this new rule is, someone's quoted, it's like netball. You're just standing there, not being able to move. Because what we'll see here, see he starts moving left and the umpire calls 50-meter penalty. Look at his reaction. He's like, oh, yep, I forgot about this stupid new rule. And there's a 50-meter penalty, and he goes and slots the goal. So let's have a look at what the AFL had to say about it. So AFL football boss Steve Hocking believes the league's new stand rule is having a significant impact on the play in trial matches. But a VFL coach says it's a matter of time before teams begin to outsmart the regulation change in search of victory. Under a new rule introduced in 2021, men on the mark are effectively banned from moving side to side, which is what we just saw. So what it's supposed to do is outlaw the tactic of a teammate taking over, so no one can change the man on the mark. It has to be that player. And limiting the team's ability to get numbers back in defense. So it's supposed to open up the forward line for the attacking team and increase the scoring. Now, they said the scoring was really low because we're not talking about 2020 numbers. We're talking about, because COVID season doesn't really count, they had shorter quarters for the whole game. But they wanted to increase the scoring from the 2019 season. Let's have a look at some of these scores from 2019 season. First week of the season, just getting warmed up. Look at that, 141 points, 112, 100, a couple of lower scores. Definitely not too low by any means. 80s, 70s, 126, 100, 100, 104. There you go, 61, 58. Look, we're at 130. We're getting over the hundreds. So it's not super low, but I guess by AFL standards and averages, it was lower compared to previous seasons. But just because the score is lower doesn't mean it's not a good game. Like if you look at this, 77-72, that would be considered maybe a lower score, but it's within 5 points. So, and don't take what I just said, just because it's a lower score doesn't mean it's not a good game. Don't take that and apply it to the women's game, because that's completely different. We're talking about scores of, let's bring it up right now, 41-12, 56-18. So it's pretty one-sided on these. And this is, what, the third or fourth season of AFLW? So it's getting better. Look at it, 65-2, 18-8, 18-8 for the whole game. Do not apply what I said to the women's football, okay? Completely different game at the moment. So the scores in the AFL in 2019, while they would be lower on the averages compared to previous seasons, they're not ridiculously low to implement a rule like this that stops people from standing on the mark and moving around. Look, what we're going to see from this new rule about standing on the mark is effectively, we're going to turn it into the NFL, where there's a penalty every 2 plays or every 2 marks or free kicks. Like you're going to get a 50 every other play in the beginning. And I think it's a quote here. So here's Warren Treadway, one of the ex-Port Adelaide Stars, premiership players. What a joke. Michael Maguire, ex-Collingwood player. As if the umpires haven't got enough on their plate. Yep, you got to see. Now the umpires have to look at the defender to see if he's moving off the mark and when the attacker wants to play on. It's just a lot for them to deal with. Essendon great Matthew Lloyd suggested players were really struggling to come to terms with the rule as umpires toured the country implementing it at training sessions. And then you got some people saying, well, it's the new rule. You just got to get used to it. I get that, but it is going to take some time. If it does stick, it's definitely going to have an effect in the opening rounds. And Josh Fraser, ex-Collingwood player, says the rule's going to work until you don't have anyone standing on the mark and players guard the inside 45. Dylan Buckley, ex-Carlton player, says don't worry, that's when you bring in another 3 rules next year to fix it. So this is what the AFL has been doing. Something happens, bring in another rule, another rule. Let the game go. You're just bringing in so many rules that you're going to have the opposite effect of what your desired outcome is. Yeah, and then the Hawthorn coach, Alistair Clarkson, he criticised last year's holding the ball rule that was implemented during COVID season. And he says it's going to be an enormous challenge going to the umpiring department. While it's a change for all the players in terms of how they're going to adjust, it's almost enormously demanding on the umpires on how they're going to adjust. Yep. I think we need to make sure it's done really well so in the first game of the season, we don't have 15 or 20 50-metre penalties, which is exactly right. And he's probably one of the greatest coaches of this generation. He's won, 4 premierships, been to, 6, 7 grand finals. And yeah, I think he's got it right how many 50s we're going to see in the first opening round or 2 at least. We don't want to see the game changing into what the NFL is, like when there's a stoppage every couple of plays for a penalty, and then there's a 50-metre penalty here, 50-metre penalty here. I know the AFL wants to increase the scoring, but do we really want to increase the scoring at the cost of open play? And we just want to give teams free kicks every time? Like, sure, you're going to get another 6-7 goals from free kicks. Is that what people really want to see? Or do they want to see open flowing play? Let me know what you guys think of this new rule coming in, how you think it's going to affect the game. If you agree with it, disagree with it, leave your comments down below. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video out there, and I'll see you in the next one.